levels. Yes.
Lexical.
Word
Lexical item.
is
As a lexical
a lexical item. Depending on
depending lexical context.
effective.
شو المصيبة هذه؟ ما قبل السبب.
Lexical context. So here, the number of words, the definition of any given word depends on the lexical context, which is concerned with the use of dictionary.
Yes. How many entries are there in the dictionary?
If we talk about word
Yes.
as a syntactic, yes, as a syntactic,
When the word
as a syntactic item,
according
yes, depending on
the syntactic context.
syntactic context,
Which means
how any given word behaves in syntax, in word order, according to its syntactic function. If we talk about word as a phonological item, then we depend on
Context.
phonological context. Now these are the three levels according to which one can identify words.
how many levels are there?
Three.
Number one,
Lexical, syntactic, and phonological.
Very good. Yes. Now, having identified words according to these three levels, now,
how can we analyze word? How can we analyze any given word? Yes? Yes, please. Yes, thank you, yes. By meaning, yes, who else?
By form, what is it? Subject, object, adjective.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yes, who else? Yes, Haidar Talib, if you have something.
Yes, it's hard to define words because there are so many types of words, such as verbs and noun, and each one.
Yes, very good. Yes, we said it is hard, it is difficult to define any given word. The definition of word is a problematic issue, but let's move to identify words. And we moved and identified words according to these three levels, but have we reached to any definition to a word? Yes?
The best definition was done for the grammar, the old grammar, or the written, English written, was by Bloomfield. That the word is the minimum form.
Good. Good. And we said that this definition is unsatisfactory for us.
Yeah.
Neither.
Unsatisfactory in the spoken language.
Very good, yes. Well, let's cut it short. We should move to what is called morphemes. We should analyze words according to its internal structure.
Yes.
According to its internal structure. Why not external, if you remember? Why not external? because external analysis of words give us what is called word order, which is the concern of syntax, not morphology. Analyzing internal word structure is represented by what is called, yes, what is called morphology. What is called morphology. So what is morphology?
Yes.
Yes, please. Yes, a branch of linguistics. Yes,
Which deal
which deals
with the structure of words.
with the internal structure of words. Good. Now, what is the smallest unit of morphology? Yes, morpheme. So, morpheme is the smallest meaningful unit in morphology. What is morpheme?
Yes, sir.
Yes, please.
Morpheme is the smallest unit in the
Smallest meaningful,
morphology. And
smallest
that means
meaningful unit.
that means three criteria.
Very good.
First, it cannot be cut up into smaller units.
Very good. Yes, number one. Or morpheme. Yes, number one.
Number two,
Cannot be cut up into smaller units.
yes,
Good. Two.
it's a part of word that has meaning.
Very good. A part of word. A word or part of word.
Yes. A word of
Yes. Word or part of word
that has meaning.
with meaning. Very good. Yes, three.
Three, it recurs
Recurs.
in different variable environment
Recurs
with a
in
related
different. Yes.
environment.
Relative, let's say, contexts with meaning, with relative meaning. Yes, please.
Morphemes very in size, neither solid nor blanket are solid here and friction.
So morpheme is the smallest meaningful, significant unit in a given language. How can we recognize a morpheme?
With these three criteria.
How can we recognize morpheme? Morpheme, yes, first, cannot be cut up into smaller, meaningful units. Morpheme is either a word or part of a word, and it recurs with relative meaning. Let's take the example, the word play. Play as a morpheme, and let's put it the ed past. Played. Played. Let's talk about the ed past morpheme. Yes, number one, this ed, can this ed be cut into smaller units?
No.
Can we cut it into
E and
E and D
No.
with meaningful? Huh? So, number one, it cannot be cut up. Two, is it a word? Is it a part of word? Very good. So it is part of a word. And number 3, does it recur in this relative place? Have you ever been seen ed in this place or in the middle? So it is always at the end.
Can be echoed with different values.
Good. So occurring at the end, which is a relative place. This is how to recognize a morpheme. Now, what are the types of morphemes? The types
Yes.
of morphemes, yes please. Inflectional and derivational. Yes, what do you mean by inflectional morpheme? Inflectional morpheme. Yes, please.
For that we have free and bound.
Yes.
Yes. Free morpheme is one that can utter along with meaning,
Very good, yes.
while bound cannot occur along with meaning.
Very good.
Reflectional morpheme.
Yes, thank you, yes.
Yes.
Yes, Wurud?
Yes, infection is the provide further information and exactly.
Good.
Lexical item.
Very good, yes. So free and bound. Free morpheme can occur along with meaning, while bound, unlike free, cannot occur along with meaning unless
They attached to
attached to another morpheme to give its full meaning. Good. The other classification, which is mentioned in your textbook, is morpheme either, yes, inflectional and derivational. Yes, inflectional morphemes are those
Yes.
morphemes, yes,
Inflectional morphemes or inflectional suffixes that change don't alter the part of the speech,
yes.
while derivational they change the part of the speech.
Yes, if you want to differentiate between inflectional and derivational, yes. Number 1, inflectional morphemes. Yes. Inflectional morphemes are those morphemes. Yes, please. Yes, number 1. Inflectional morphemes, they come at the end of a given word. How about derivational morphemes?
Can be occurred at
Yes.
the beginning or at the end. And
They
sometimes at the end.
can come at the beginning, yes, at the end, or in the middle. Right? Good. Inflectional morphemes,
Don't alter.
yes, close off the word. While derivational, here for example, ed, play, huh? Played. There is no more inflections or any kind of addition at the end. Well, here they do not close off the word. For example, if you remember norm, normal, normalize, etc. And until we add one of these inflectional morphemes to close off the word. Good. What else?
They don't alter the syntactic behavior.
Very good. Here, they do not change the part of speech. If we take the word cats and put cats, the morpheme, the plural morpheme, would not change the word, the part of speech of the word cat. While here, they change part of speech. For example, norm, noun. Normal, adjective. Normalize, verb. Normalization, again, noun, and so on and so forth. Yes. Sometimes morphemes come in different realizations, come in different forms, invariant forms. What do we call this or these forms? If you remember from the last lecture, allomorphs. Very good, yes. So allomorphs can be defined as?
Yes.
Yes, Haider?
It's the actual realization of morpheme.
Very good. Haider is the best student for this lecture. So, yes, again, Haider is?
The actual realization.
Allomorphs can be defined as the actual realizations of a morpheme. Very good. The actual realization of a morpheme, or the different forms of a morpheme, or the variant forms of a morpheme. Just like the allophone, the variant or different forms of a phoneme, here the allomorphs, the different realizations of a morpheme. Yes. The same example, if we talk about the morpheme, the S plural morpheme, then one, sometimes we pronounce it as se, sometimes ze, sometimes is. So these three realizations or actual realizations are called allomorphs of the morpheme as plural, or the ed past. Sometimes yes, de, sometimes te, sometimes it, and these are the three allomorphs of the morpheme ed past, or ed past participle. The same rule, the same rules are applicable here. Now, sometimes we do not stick to these rules of plural or ed past. We use what is called irregular forms. Like write, in past we say wrote. Child, in terms of plural, yes, plurality, children. ox, oxen. So what is the problem here? The problem in this way, in this case, is of conditioning. Problem is of conditioning. So there are some allomorphs are conditioned by a particular area than other allomorphs. Well, in our textbook, there are only two conditioning types: is phonological and lexical. When we talk about phonological conditioning, it means it means that allomorphs are phonologically conditioned. Allomorphs depend on phonological rules, in their behavior. Okay? Allomorphs, yes please? Allomorphs depend on phonological rules, and their behavior. For example, the se are plural. The se are plural. When we deal with it phonologically, then it will be se, ze, is. So the first phonological rule, which makes this se pronounced like se, will be after the voiceless sound, it will be pronounced se. For example, cat, te, cats. Keep, te, voiceless, keeps, and so on. Rule number 2, which is if the se of plural is is preceded by a voiced sound, it will be pronounced ze. These are the phonological rules. Then pronouncing it as ze. For example, dog, dogs, dog, dogs, God, de, gods, and so on. And if we have the final sound is from the same natural class of se. For example, wish, wishes, change, changes. So it will be pronounced like is. These are the phonological rules. So the allomorphs of the plural morpheme se will be phonologically conditioned, and the whole thing is called morpho. If you remember, very good. Morphophonology or morphophonemic analysis. Morphophonemic analysis. Morphophonemic analysis is when allomorphs are phonologically conditioned. Is when allomorphs are phonologically conditioned. Yes. Sometimes we do not say righted. We say wrote. We do not say oxen. We say oxen. We do not say childs. We say children. So this type of conditioning is called lexical. Why?
Because they don't follow any specific rule.
Very good. Yes, it depends. Lexical conditioning. Lexical conditioning means allomorphs depend on lexical rules or regulations. Depends on lexical rules. Depending on the lexical rules, according to allomorphs, is not the regular rule. However, it is
The irregular form of the
the
plural.
irregular form of the morphemes. Okay? Yes. Finally, word classes, or what is traditionally called parts of speech. Parts of speech. Good. When we talk about words, or word classes, yes,
Yes, in word classes, in every language there are limited number of type of lexical items.
very good, yes.
Yes. This different kind of word and traditionally as a part of speech.
Yes, they are called,
As
traditionally
noun
called
part of speech.
parts of speech, yes. Very good, yes. Yes.
I just have a question. You said that lexical conditions don't follow rules, right?
Irregular rules, yes.
So here you put they follow rules.
Yes, lexical rules or regulations, yes, they are not rules that we should stick to. Rules of lexicon, which are not like the rules of phonology. We should say so and so and so. Rules said, for example, the rule saying that child should not be pluralized as child. Should be children. So here we're talking about particular kind of rules and regulations. That's why I put regulations. Okay? Particular kind of rules and regulations. Okay? Yes, Dave?
Words class are conventionally different labels such as nouns, verb, adjective.
Yes, very good. Well, there are two major word class types, yes, if you remember. Two major classes. Yes. Yes, please. Functional words. Functional words. Yes, and content words and functional words. Content words, yes, are words which have meaning.
Characteristic meaning.
Yes, which have meaning, while functional words which have grammatical function. If you remember, when we talked about functional words, we said that they do they glue the content words together. So here we have, if you remember this example, these slots. Here, Ahmed goes school. We can understand this, although it is ambiguous, but we can have an idea about this, which means Ahmed go to the school. However, if we glue this by using to, it will be a well grammatical sentence. So Ahmed goes school. These three are called content words, having the main meaning, while to and the are functional words having the grammatical function. Yes, please.
This content word is the meaning and internal of the phonology categories, and in the future will specify to difficult with the determinant.
Very good. Very good. Yes. Well, content words are specified. For example, class 1, nouns. Class 2, verbs. Class 3, adjectives. 4, adverbs. While functional words are sometimes hard to define, sometimes
Articles.
yes, prepositions,
Articles.
yes, determiners, auxiliaries, and so on. Okay? If you remember from last year, there are closed groups, functional words, because they're used to serve grammatical functions.
Functional words are extendable,
Unextendable, while content words, yes, we can derive,
Yeah.
we can coinage, we can use a lot of new words through the processes of getting new words. Well, this is a general review in pieces of words and morphology, study of pieces of words. We have explained this lecture area. Now is the turn for you to do your own presentation. Yes. Now since we're recording, who will be the scapegoat? Yes, I think Noor is ready. Yes. Yes, Noor. What is your group, Noor? Group?
Not hard group, sir.
You are the group?
Yeah, I am the group. I'm gonna clean the floor, sir.
Yes, Noor. You will start with
I'll start at the beginning of the units. Good morning.
Morning.
I'm going to explain what the teacher was explaining next lecture. I'm going to start with the beginning of the words. Okay?
yes.
Can we define, I'm going to ask the students if they have any idea what words. Can we define words? It's this. Okay. This.
According to Bloomfield, this is the minimum form.
Okay. A different idea. Yes, please.
The words can occur by itself.
The
Okay.
smallest form which can occur by itself is
Yes, please.
The second definition of word is the receive and followed by a space.
Okay. Yes, Haida, please.
What is preceded and followed by speech?
Okay, thank you. We have three kinds of defining. Can we say words? as a lexical. Lexical item. This is the first one.
These are
Three
three
terms.
ways of identifying words.
Words. And
Words
syntax.
as a lexical item. Words as
Syntax.
syntactic items.
Items. And the third point, words as phonological items. Items. The first one, words as lexical items, is when word is different, when word is repeated by a lexical context. This is the first one. The second one's words, same as but deal with syntax context.
Yes.
And the third one's words as a phonological items is deal with the phonological context. And now we have morpheme. Do you have any idea about morpheme? How many times, how many branches that we have on morpheme? Yes, please.
Yes, morpheme is the smallest unit of sound that distinguish in particular language.
Okay, you have another idea? Yes, please. Okay, thank you. We'll have another idea, the point, another definition. Yes, Hassan?
Yes.
How many branches or that count two or more than
The
two?
morpheme it's a word or a part of word or a part of word. How
Yes.
many?
Yes. A
It
word
is
or part of a
reoccur
word.
in the relative position.
Okay, okay, thank you. Yes, Ray?
Morphemes is very precise. Says neither syllables nor language.
Okay, thank you. Type of morphemes, we have two types. They are, yes?
Personal and professional.
Okay, thank you.
Directional and
Yes, sir, this is what I got.
thank you, Mr. Moore.
Yeah, welcome, sir.
Well done. Thank you. Have a seat.